Good morning, everyone. My name is Mighty Stream. I'm going to do your August the 9th spiritual principle a day in a meditation. Greet you this morning. I hope you're doing well. Let's go ahead and get into that meditation. It's entitled Practicing Tolerance and Self-Acceptance. As we learn to gently accept ourselves, we can start to view others with the same accepting and tolerant heart. Just for today, expectations, July 29th. Working an NA program uncovers a considerable need for self-acceptance, and slowly we proceed on that journey. Our work also reveals that the people who get under our skin the most are among our greatest teachers. Just like us, they deserve our acceptance and empathy. There's a reciprocal relationship between self-acceptance and tolerating others who bug us. We learn this from the harsh truth that we often share some very similar traits with those very same people. As we extend grace and dignity to other flawed people in our lives, we often find it easier to treat our less than perfect selves with the same compassion. But then, how is tolerance a spiritual principle? Shouldn't we just be unconditionally loving and accepting of everyone? Earlier in my recovery, a member remarked, I rejected tolerance as a spiritual principle because when I practiced it toward the person who was driving me nuts, there was nothing spiritual going on in my head. I wanted to go right to acceptance or scratch their eyes out. But now I see it as an act of love. Tolerance, in my mind, another member responded, is like a gateway spiritual principle. It's a layover on a multi-stop flight on the way to your final destination. Acceptance. Or it's an appetizer principle. A third member joked, you have it first to tide you over before the empathy entree. And maybe unconditional love is dessert. No matter how we slice it, tolerance helps us combat unrealistic expectations we place on others' behavior and our own spiritual condition. Whether we practice it with an open heart or through gritted teeth, it helps prevent us from acting out in fear or anger or expressing our impatience with others who may not be as far along in their journey as we believe we are. Today, when I practice tolerance, I'll know that it relates directly to my level of self-acceptance. I'll try to let people be where they are and focus on what I can change about myself to invite serenity in. Let's take a moment of silence followed by the we version of the serenity prayer. Moment of silence now, please. Thank you. God, grant us the serenity to accept the things that we cannot change, the courage to change the things that we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Just for today, please and thank you. I really like how this meditation talks about at the beginning in regards to practicing tolerance and self-acceptance, that we can start to view others with the same accepting and tolerant heart as a result, right, of being more gentle and accepting of ourselves. That heart, right, accepting and tolerant heart is what is on my mind. Because a lot of times what I project has a lot to do with what's inside of me. it's easier for me to be kind and gentle and considerate with others when I'm in the mode of feeling peaceful, kind, and gentle and accepting of myself, where my view of myself is right side, basically humble, right? When I'm being humble and able to give myself some grace, some room for whatever's going on and however I'm feeling without attaching bad or good to it, but just allowing it to be. And when I realize that does not define who I am, these feelings do not define who I am. It's the fact that I'm human that I have feelings. It's not the feelings that make me human, right? It's the fact that I'm a human being and I have these emotions, I have these feelings, and not all of them are great. Sometimes they're not so great, but that does not make me a bad person. And when I allow that awareness to take root, it's easier for me to extend it. Let me give you an example. Seeing how we have all these other examples in here, let me give you my example. I like how it compares it to, self-acceptance being like a appetizer. I like all of that, right? But this is what it comes down to. I was in a meeting, and in the meeting, the discussion came up, like the GSR was reporting, and it's very unusual for the report to be given in the beginning of the meeting, but every meeting is autonomous, right? So this particular meeting I was in, the report was being given as part of the secretary's report, the GSR report actually, but the report was being given in the beginning of the meeting. And in the most kind, gentle, diplomatic way, the individual indicated that a huge topic at the business meeting was cross-talking. People were becoming upset that certain chair people and also members were cross-talking, basically giving direct advice, speaking to someone directly, using their names in the share. And when the report was done being given, obviously, there was a lot of crosstalk. Everyone there seemed to have felt that it was about them. They seemed to have felt that they were the ones that had caused the problem. You know why? Because the culture of that particular meeting is very cozy. The culture of that particular meeting is somehow has incorporated over the years this conversational piece, right? Where the meetings feel more like an ongoing conversation rather than a formal meeting. And for me to sit there, because it's a group that I don't always participate in, for me to sit there as an individual observing was very difficult for me to do. There was no way I was going to chime in on a topic that I felt literally had nothing to do with me, right? I'm visiting. This is not my home group, right? And so me adding my 2 cents in regards to what was already going on and feeling like uneasiness would not have been helpful. Because I personally would have indicated, why are we taking 20 minutes of a whole meeting to have this discussion, right? And the meeting only lasts an hour. It's not a very long meeting. So my judgment or view of it was there would have been a better time and place for the discussion. But I realized that that wasn't my home group. That wasn't my meeting. I'm visiting. And I exercise tolerance. I exercise self-acceptance. That maybe what you came for today for in this meeting, what you came for to receive, the recovery you were seeking, it may still come. It's just delayed a little bit. You can be patient because you're still going to leave at the same time and you're going to have a beautiful day regardless to how this meeting seems to be going, right? Because I had that awareness of myself, some self-acceptance about my place, if you will, in that particular group, which is no place. It's not a home group for me. I was visiting, right? I had the ability to sit back and not add any fuel to the fire. There was a person in that meeting that began to share almost painfully so. Like, I know everyone else was aware of the weight the person was carrying, but I was very much aware of the weight because of the type of person they are. They're one of those tender, gentle, kind energies in the earth, right? They're a person that really, really is in tune to themselves. They do a lot of meditation. They love nature. They, everything about them is about love, kindness, and peace. And they really took that particular meeting in a painful way. It really hurt them in a sense. And so I just want to say that everyone is different. Everyone is trying to find a better way to live and to recover. And when I can be self-accepting and give myself grace, is when I can sit still in a meeting like that and extend it to others. My heart really ached for that particular person because I know how sensitive they actually are. And I know they internalized the outcome of that business meeting deeply. What can I do about it? There wasn't much I can do other than to acknowledge them after the meeting and give them a hug and thank them for being present. My name is Mighty Stream. I've enjoyed talking to you today. As you practice tolerance today, remember that it relates directly to your level of self-acceptance. They're almost like two sides of a coin. And so today I would say, practice self-acceptance. And then as you see it coming to fruit within your own life, extend it to others. Have a beautiful day. I intend to talk to you tomorrow.